Would you like to be my friend? We can have beers together.
Did you see what that fucking drunk cunt said about me today?
Now, look, I don't.
I
At
didn't
the
even
risk
say
of
it.
having you lie again about your drinking habits, are you drinking? Are you drunk?
No, I can drink right now. I am legally allowed to drink right now. I'm on no restrictions at all. I have found that I don't really enjoy whiskey like I used to. I don't know if it's like a subconscious thing where my brain's trying to prepare me for the fact that I'm not going to be able to drink for once I'm sentenced for like a year to longer. I have no idea how long it's going to be. So I haven't really enjoyed alcohol much lately. I've drank plenty, but I haven't enjoyed it that much.
Maybe it's
more
like a sense
depressed
memory.
drinking.
Maybe you've locked the taste of whiskey to this entire experience now.
Yeah,
And you just don't want anything to do with any of it.
yeah, it kind of sucks because I really enjoyed whiskey, but oh well.
Well,
But
some
no,
people
I'm,
have when
I'm
you
not
have something for a
intoxicated.
while, it you kind of lose the taste for things you don't have for a while. It's like if you kick sugar for a little bit, you can't really eat it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you just real quick? There's been a lot of projection this week about you and your alcoholism and
Yes.
drinking, and
Yeah.
you've made statements before about Aaron. I think you said last night in my chat that Aaron used to start drinking at 9 a.m.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of days where I started drinking at 9 a.m. too. I was usually like, if I had a bad day, the day
Aaron
before,
Imholta
something-
has all the makings of a family annihilator. He must be in prison for the sake of the children. The children in.
No. Wait, the NN children. I thought Planned Parenthood took care of those.
Jesus Christ. So
Oh,
yeah,
wait,
I just like
this
real
isn't
quick
that kind
about
of
that.
show.
About Aaron drinking, yeah, like so he would drink at your house, like your whiskey. He would just start pouring it at 9 a.m.
No, he would typically April would go out and buy him a proper beer. I hate beer, so April would go buy beer. Michelob Golden, I believe, was one of the common ones, and he would drink at 9 a.m. This is usually at his house. He wasn't usually at my house at 9 a.m. Right, like because he was usually doing his show.
So they would take, is this true? Like they would take 2 cars over to your house so that he could leave and go do his show, and April would just stay there.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's so
remember
insane.
Yeah.
You live an hour away. Like they would bring 2 gas guzzling trucks.
And I would tell him over and over, like, you can just use my studio. I have a giant industrial green screen that I've never actually gotten around to using, but it's like, we could hang the green screen, put your Steel Toe logo behind you. No big deal. Like, we could do that for you, and you could just broadcast from here. Like, why leave? And my setup is, my setup is a giant tax write-off, right? And
Right.
and I was very successful. And so my camera is like a $5,000 camera, and I have great mics. I've like 10 different
We
audio.
get it. You have a
interfaces.
trust fund. We get it.
That's a funny one. But like I have all this stuff. I have a way better monitor setup. Like there's way more real estate to use. And he just was like, no, I need to go back to my shitty two screens and my 720p camera.
The theory
he
with
was
him putting
Go
her
ahead.
on the show has always been like, like he was jealous. We know that her ex-boyfriend worked at that factory where she worked. And then when he made her quit, we feel like that was like out of jealousy and like mistrust. He didn't want her there all day with somebody she had been with, and he wanted to like control her by having her work from the house. So I always found it odd that he would like leave her at your house. And that's why I have the theory that like he kind of saw this all coming and was letting her go. He wanted out of this, and he saw that as an opportunity to, because he was such a controlling guy. He needed her at his house. He needed her to quit her job. And now all of a sudden he's okay with her taking her own car to another dude's house.
It was so weird because everything he complains about with April was his idea. So I didn't talk about this when it happened, but part of the thing that made my life so stressful, I was a fucking wreck from mid-February through getting arrested. Part of what made it actually, yeah, this past weekend was rough, but this week's been really good. But the reason it was so stressful was our nanny quit unexpectedly, and our driving schedule. So we homeschool our kids, but they do tons of activities. And so throughout the day, 5 different kids are going to different places to get extracurricular learning. And so we would often require 2 or even 3 drivers on a specific day. But when we had the nanny, we were equipped to deal with that. Her leaving in the middle of February was devastating. Aaron's idea was that April could come and fill in as the nanny at our house.
So he sent her away.
Aaron sent her to my house starting in early March to be the nanny, and she would sleep over all the time. Like it was very common for her to just stay the night, because he would sometimes come out after the show, sometimes not. There were several days where he was not there at all. They were magic. They were blissful.
Because our speculation was, she would show up to the morning show late, and she'd be
wearing
fully
like
dressed. Sometimes she'd have
jacket.
her purse around her. So she was coming in from the car. She would bring him gas station garbage on the way home, and like
he would leave if he would stay over, he would leave at 4 a.m. and so he'd go set up his show or whatever. Like, you could do all this from my office, right, no problem. But instead, he would leave at 4 a.m. so he'd have all this time. If she was going to go join him, she wouldn't leave until 5 a.m. Because she didn't have to be there. And
right.
But most of the time, like, she eventually, her leaving the show, she did her last show with on April 1st. And,
can April fly solo? We
right. Yeah, I know you guys are intimately familiar with all of this.
Right.
But
right.
what you don't know is, like, Aaron was like, he came to me and he's like, yeah, she doesn't need to do the show anymore. It'll be just fine. Like, she can be down here full time as a nanny, and then, like, I'll take over back on the show because I know it's stressing her out. He didn't even talk to her about this. And, like, she was really kind of fucking hurt by it because she didn't really want to keep doing the show. But for him to just unilaterally say, no, like, I'll do her this favor, was like, wow, that's kind of like being an asshole.
This reminds me of the movie Friday, where they're like, it'll be both of ours. We'll just keep it down at my house. It's like, okay. Now, real quick, when your nanny quit, why did she quit? Was her husband starting up a podcast and he needed her to be a co-host? Or
no, she went through a really bad breakup.
I'm kidding. We don't really need to know about your nanny. Go ahead, Moody.
Well, I was listening back. I was watching this old Citizen M clip because it's fascinating to go back and watch this, like, around the time of April with the hindsight that we have now, with the new fact that we've got. So when April left, he was saying she's going to be back on the show next week. She's just taking a step back from the show. Wednesdays, I always want it to be just a solo person. So in front of the camera, he was very much like, April's going to come back. And it felt like he was protecting. He was like, I need space. She needs space away from the show so we can save our marriage. That's what he was saying.
Candied bacon.
Yeah, the candied bacon was really funny because Aaron was not making candied bacon. He was singing karaoke with Kayla and I. We were like one room away. The karaoke room's right next to the kitchen, but he was in singing karaoke, and, like, he would go, he'd take 5 minutes or whatever and go, like, see what April was up to. But she was making the candied bacon, and it's like her mom's recipe or whatever. Aaron doesn't even know how to do anything.
Hold on, this is at your house?
Yeah, this is at my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was at his house.
No.
She's upstairs.
No, we've mixed up a lot of different things. He says she's upstairs a lot, and he also said yesterday we were making candied bacon together, and over time that's morphed into she's upstairs making candied bacon.
Got it,
like that's where that comes from.
He's 2 different lies.
Yes.
He literally walked into the kitchen as she is pulling the candy bacon out of the oven, talked to her for a couple minutes, and was like, yeah, we were making candy bacon together. It's like, no, you weren't. You were shittily singing country songs over and over and over with no concept of melody. Oh, my God.
Hit the like button. Hit the like button!
God damn it, Doom.
Doom! Find God! Find God!
God damn it, Doom. You squid that. It's not happening for the last freaking time.